It's become one of the most popular spots to take a photograph in Nanaimo. The frame in Maffeo Sutton Park is now a permanent structure. We're going to talk to Kirsty McDonald and the artist later on this edition of Go. A decision on the colliery dams in Nanaimo has been made, but what's next? A new political landscape in BC and collecting rainwater without barrels. That and more in the next 30 minutes. The question of whether to rebuild, replace, or remove the colliery dams in Nanaimo has been polarizing and passionate. Council made a decision on Monday, but as Jocelyn Matwee tells us, the debate is not over. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. About 5 minutes ago, we needed sunscreen. Now we need an umbrella. Welcome to late spring. Today on Go Island, we are talking about the frame. It's become one of Nanaimo's most popular spots to hang out, take a photograph, and then send them hopefully all over the world. The good news is now this frame, that frame, is here permanently. Kirsty McDonald is with the City of Nanaimo. What had to happen to make this frame become a permanent part of Maffeo Sutton Park?
Well, the frame was originally installed in Maffeo Sutton Park in May 2012, and it was intended as a one-year temporary art piece.
Yeah.
And it was actually owned during the year by the Nanaimo Art Gallery, and
Okay.
they recently proposed to donate it to the City of Nanaimo, and last week City Council accepted it as a permanent feature in the park.
I think it's fabulous. And I mean, a lot of the time, we, the city, the citizens are donating to the art gallery. And it's fabulous that the art gallery, not that they don't give so much back to the city already, but is donating something back. Now, it was only meant to be here for a year.
That's right.
And there are some things that have to happen. Why did the city have to think about accepting it or not? What's involved?
There's a lot of safety factors and integrity of the piece involved.
Right.
And we wanted to make sure that the piece could withstand the interaction it gets from the public and that it would be a positive feature in the park. So we're going to be looking at doing some finishing upgrading, and then we had to evaluate the structural integrity of the piece as well to keep it as a permanent fixture.
Okay, and it's probably one of the most popular spots for grads to come, for weddings. We've all seen pictures in this frame come across our Facebook pages. Is this, how many permanent pieces of art now? It's gone from temporary to permanent.
That's right.
And this now adds to how many other permanent pieces in the city? I didn't warn you about that question.
There's over 100 permanent pieces of art in the city.
Okay.
Some of them are much more like a beautification project, a painting, and then there's quite a few sculptures as well, this being one of them. Really, with the Spirit Square and Maffeo Sutton Park, we're trying to have more pieces in the park to create an outdoor art gallery so that people that maybe wouldn't go into an art gallery like the Nanaimo Art Gallery can still experience art while they're recreating in the downtown.
Excellent. We're going to talk to you again a little bit later on this edition of Go Island about the temporary public art program. There's some pieces coming in, some pieces going out, and we're going to meet the frame creator, Jason Gress, later on this edition of Go Island. The votes are in British Columbia, and the political landscape has now been set. Here's Sean Leslie now with a very exciting and busy week in BC politics. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. The frame is become a permanent fixture in Maffeo Sutton Park in downtown Nanaimo, and we're going to talk to its creator, Jason Gress, in just a moment. Here's a short break. Still ahead today on Go Island, new life for and from an old fishing boat in Parksville, and David Lenham's Top 10 in music. That and more still ahead today on Go Island. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. It's a permanent fixture now in Maffeo Sutton Park in downtown Nanaimo. The frame, creator Jason Gress. How long did it take you to make it?
Oh, I think from start to finish it was probably about 2.5 months.
Okay. And we're going to go backwards now a little bit to where the idea came from, because it's so, I don't want to sound, I'm not being insulting, but it's very simple.
It is simple,
which is
yeah.
part of why it works.
Yes. Well, I knew I wanted to apply to the public project, and I thought, you know, I started to rack my brain. I was in Maui at the time, just before the deadline. Everyone needs a deadline, right? So
Yeah.
just in December, before the January deadline, and
And
I
it's
thought,
a perfect time to take a vacation.
it
That's
is.
why there's a deadline looming.
Yes, in the
Good
middle
strategy.
of winter. So we were at a restaurant, and they had a sort of a piece of plywood with some cutouts of a moose head and something else, and you could put your face in there. And I thought, there's got to be sort of a more highbrow, kind of cooler version of that, where people try to commemorate, an event or getting a group of family together for a dinner. And
what is it made out of? Do you look at this as a sculpture?
Yes, I do. Yes,
okay.
yeah, it's a sculpture. It's made just like your house framing would be made. So it's laminated 2 by 12-inch beams inside, all bolted and screwed together. It's got some plywood elements in there to keep it all solid and held together. There's about 3,500 pounds of concrete pumped into the footings. We have steel on the sides and some big lag bolts that the fellows from the city bolted it all in place. So we tried to figure out how many inebriated football players could hang off of it when we were figuring out some of the structural components, and I think we got it. So it's structurally, it's
the
pretty,
Raiders can
it's
hang
good.
out on there.
That's
after
right.
A
Yes,
local
not that they're going to
right?
be inebriated, but
right.
we needed to plan for the worst of anybody being on there. So
you didn't think it would be so popular?
I wasn't sure what to think. I just wanted my original intention was that people would use it and they would sort of get the idea that I'm kind of framing something that's already beautiful. This waterfront that we have and this place that we have is already a beautiful, sort of spectacular place to live, and it kind of didn't need the mediation, but maybe hopefully that this would sort of heighten that experience for them. And with the original idea, it was supposed to be taken away after a year.
For 1 year, yeah.
And I liked the notion that this place would have existed before it, and it would have people would have had an impression of it with the frame there. And then when the frame was gone, would they be missing the frame, or would they be thinking about
this space would not look
Yeah,
right
so,
anymore? If this frame was gone, something wrong.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That was part of my interest as well. That kind of, it's like a commemorative aspect of it being there only for a certain time.
Yeah.
But I've let go of that. I'm okay with it being here permanently. I think that's going to be great for people to be able to enjoy it.
And there's a few things that have to be tweaked on it in order for it to withstand the rain and the weather like we're having today.
Yeah. So it's like I talked about the structure, and structurally it's very sound. It can withhold a lot of weight and everything. It's got quite a delicate surface on it. There's about 13 different coats of paint and varnish and things that are on it. It was designed to be outside for a year, which was the duration of the original project. So we're just going to upgrade the finish. So we'll take some finessing between the city and I. We'll just figure out. Kirsty was saying that I may be able to do some of that, which I kind of want to do, sort of to sort of do it the way I want to do it, and then we'll kind of hand it over probably to the city to maintain it on an annual basis, and that just means basically revarnishing it every year so it stays nice. It gets a lot of wear and tear where people kind of step up onto it and things like that, and kids, which is great. I love that that they can kind of put their kids and dogs and whatever up on there.
I'm picturing a photo of my kids I've got on there, and it's my son's all happy, my daughter's in the middle of a pout, and so all kinds of memories take place in this frame.
Yeah.
Are you have more projects coming? Are you going to enter into another phase of public art? You've got an act.
This was actually my first public project. I've done lots of work at galleries and artist run centers across Canada, but all kind of inside work. So this was kind of my first major outside work. And the way public sculpture works is you kind of need to get your foot in the door. You can't really apply for them until you have them. And so now that I've actually done one, I'll be applying for more public sculpture projects. So
in Nanaimo and elsewhere.
And elsewhere, wherever.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Fabulous.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Great. Take care.
Bye-bye. A day like today is perfect for rain barrel collection. Parksville's Jim Enright has a 16-foot boat that he uses to collect rainwater, and today is probably a pretty good day in his backyard. Here's Jim. May 20 to 26 is Drinking Water Awareness Week in British Columbia. If you're thinking about collecting rainwater, great on a day like today, but you're not sure where to start, that's where I'm at. You can get some great information through the Regional District of Nanaimo. You can visit teamwatersmart.ca for links and information. Here now is your Get Up and Go community calendar. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. You know Kirsty McDonald from the city of Nanaimo. Look what we're sitting on. It's the Dungeness crab, one of the newest temporary art pieces in Nanaimo. It's here in Maffeo Sutton Park near the fishing pier. The frame was supposed to be temporary. It's now permanent. I'm already putting my vote in to make this permanent because I can just picture how popular this is going to be in the summertime. Tell me about this piece, Kirsty.
Well, this piece was installed last week, and it's by our local artist Dan Ritchie. And it's just what it looks like. It's a Dungeness crab. It's about 13 feet wide, and it's on display in Maffeo Sutton Park for the next year.
Awesome. Now the public art program, it's been going for
4 years.
This
Is
is
the fourth year.
and it's becoming more and more popular. And I don't know if it's just me, but the caliber of art that seems to be coming in is going up as well. Tell me a bit about the growth, the evolution of the program.
Well, it's a program we started with the Nanaimo Art Gallery about 4 years ago, and it's really a partnership to get art in the parks and get people coming down to check out what's changing, what's new, and just make the parks an outdoor art gallery and add vitality to our public spaces.
Right, and I guess equal partnership between the city and the art gallery. Now, why only a year? Why the temporary aspect? Because some of the pieces over there, the deer's going to go out. There's a new First Nations piece that has been installed in this past week as well. But why do they have to go at all?
Well, you get a different type of art if it's only in the park for a temporary amount of time. Right. So different materials and also different mediums and different statements. So there's a bit more opportunity to have a controversial piece or something that is a bit more edgy if it's only on display for a short period of time versus a piece that's on display in perpetuity and is out of really stable materials and often has a much higher price tag to it.
I don't know if I've got a runaway piece of hair here. I keep trying to, it's very windy, it's pouring rain, but the sun is coming out. We'll look for our rainbow soon because Nanaimo is known for fantastic double rainbows, but I digress. If artists are interested and want to apply, how far ahead is the city and the art gallery working to get new pieces in the gallery?
We typically put out request for proposals in the fall.
Okay.
And any artist can get notified by our purchasing department if they'd like, or just look for it in the fall. And we hope to do another set next year of temporary outdoor art. We also we have a community plan for public art, and anyone that's interested could find out more about how to donate a piece to the city or to get involved in future commissions as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Kirsty. I think it's beautiful. This is fantastic Dungeness crab. Come on down to Maffeo Sutton Park, wander around, and check out the public art in an outdoor art gallery. Speaking of art, David Lenham is expert. It's time now for his top 10. I really like this. I feel like a kid, and I think I want crab for dinner tonight. I don't know what's going on with the weather. I don't even know right now if it's rainy, windy, or sunny. I think it's all three at the same time. That brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. Thanks for watching. Come on down and check out the art. It's fabulous.